We pile up our work and our marriages and our children and our goals and our leisure activities and our hopes and our fears. We pile everything up on our heads like a pyramid of daggers, and then we run, fearfully trying to keep our balance. And the least little stumble, and our life is shredded.
Hi again, everybody. This is Heartbeat, the podcast, featuring insight and teaching from the more than 50 years of work put together by Landon Saunders. On today's episode, we dip back into the archive of special messages Landon put together for a special group of friends. These were podcasts long before there was a podcast. And on today's episode, Landon is discussing the issue of time. Specifically, you have all the time you need to do everything you need to do. Now here again is Landon Saunders.
A lot of our sense of smelling the roses, seeing the sky, our sense of wonder, evaporates in the pale blue light of what may be the most dominating guest ever allowed into your living room. You know, it seems a little odd that many of us feel so pressed for time. We feel like we have such a hard time getting everything done that needs to be done, and yet we've got this little one-eyed monster in our house that devours our time, hours of it every day, with hardly a whimper of protest from us. I was thinking about this the other night when I sat down to feed my own monster an hour of my time, and before I knew it, the monster had swallowed that hour plus 3 more, while my back was turned, I guess. Now, if your monster is still out of control, maybe it's time to get mad. There's a town in Connecticut not far from where I live that's made a community project out of doing without TV for the entire month of January. Instead, several nights a week, the local public library features concerts, comedians, visits by famous writers. Even the kids seem to love it. One father, in fact, got so caught up in the idea that he made a bet with his 2 teenage daughters that they couldn't stay away from TV for a year. They did. He lost, and it cost him $2,000. The only thing they missed, the girl said, was the excitement over the commercial, "Where's the beef?" Maybe if we were freed from so much television, we could go out and experience for ourselves some of the adventures our heroes can only show us on the tube. Of course, it's true that television has filled many lonely hours, and it provides needed entertainment when getting away from it all is important. Educational television can actually be tremendous. But for many people, it has become addictive. Take it away, and they suffer all the classic symptoms of addiction withdrawal. But you still need to get back in control of the situation, even if you have to go cold turkey. After all, only a turkey would stuff themselves with the TV anyhow. Isn't it about time to put your one-eyed monster on a diet? I must, though, sound the warning again. And here it is. Just saying the words, "I have all the time I need to do everything I need to do in my life," that's one thing. Acting on it is something else. The truth is, you've got to let it get down inside you. You've got to believe it. You've got to experience its calming effect all the way down to the DNA in each and every cell of your body. And only then will you find that you're more at ease. You'll find yourself very different from the frantically frenzied folks all around you. Have you ever been in one of those batting cages you see at amusement parks? Well, you stand there, bat on your shoulder, while a mechanical pitcher hurls balls at you from every angle and every speed. Here's a high, hard one. Swing! Oops! And now one down around the knees. Duck! That one almost beans you. Finally, and most devastating of all, one comes straight at you, and then at the last minute dips and dances tauntingly just beyond the reach of your flailing bat. You know, a few minutes in a batting cage can be pretty good preparation for your life. It reminds us that most of what's thrown at us during the day isn't even worth swinging at. Instead, we must be ready ourselves so that when the right opportunities do come, we can really connect with them. It's amazing how much more energy and concentration I can give to the real issues when I remember that I don't have to swing at every pitch. As Euripides put it, the one who knows when not to act is wise. Bravery is mostly forethought. Are you beginning to sense anew how exciting this insight is? I have all the time I need to do everything I really need to do in my life. To me, this is the cornerstone of building a life that really wins. Somewhere in this insight, once it has been deeply internalized, is the confidence, not just that you're going to win, but that you've already won. But you must think about this carefully, because it really involves your whole worldview, which makes it even more exciting. What we're sure of is this: our frantic impatience is a great killer of love and life. What do we need? We need more recreation. You know, I've had weeks when my work has been so rewarding that if you were to take me away and put me under a beach umbrella, I'm afraid you'd only succeed in making me miserable. I'm finding that leisure time is any time I can do what I like doing, even if it's downright hard work. When I become engrossed in something, I just forget all about time schedules and pressures. But people do react to leisure time in different ways. Some are workaholics. They face an upcoming weekend or holiday as a painful interruption. Others just live for the weekend, barely tolerating their work days. Well, the people I admire most are the ones who know how to enjoy both work and play, and who find energy in the rhythm between the two. Basically, leisure is an attitude. It's a condition of the soul, and it's really up to us whether free time is barren and boring or is fruitful and transforming. Leisure in spiritless culture only heightens the sense of the emptiness of life. When people realize that they can take the time to discover who they are, why they're here, where they're going, patiently, calmly, gracefully putting their life together, that's true recreation. And it's part of true recreation. For some years now, the American dream seems to have been to work less and less on the job and to spend more and more time at leisure activities. The words of a popular song tell the whole story when it says, "Everybody's working for the weekend." Polls show that while the work week is getting shorter, we're spending more time, money, and effort on exercise, travel, and hobbies. Even the stock market reflects a burst of activity in companies whose chief products are for leisure: sports equipment, TV cable services, video recorders, the airlines. And on it goes until one Saturday morning you wake up and you wonder, is even the fun going to require too much work? I believe that the problem with this version of the American dream is that it's really an illusion. Work and play are not separate things. They're not opposites. When you add a little more play to your work, you don't have to work so hard when you play. This weekend, why not start with a different dream, a new American dream of wholeness for your life, beyond compulsive work and compulsive play. It'll bring your work week and your weekend together. As Gorky said, when work is a pleasure, life is a joy. When work is a duty, life is slavery. The outcome of this kind of recreation, it'll fill your life with grace. And it makes a very beautiful and rewarding life. Elton Trueblood described it this way: a man has made at least a start on discovering the meaning of human life when he plants shade trees under which he knows full well he'll never sit. You see, we want everything now. And what does this do? It fills us with a sense of desperation. Now, if you like desperation, I suppose it's all right to want everything right now. We're like the man who balanced these razor-sharp daggers in a pyramid right up on his forehead, who then went dancing across the stage. But one small stumble, and those razor-sharp blades would come down and shred the man. And that's exactly the way we try to balance our lives sometimes. We pile up our work and our marriages and our children and our goals and our leisure activities and our hopes and our fears. We pile everything up on our heads like a pyramid of daggers, and then we run, fearfully trying to keep our balance. And the least little stumble, and our life is shredded. We don't understand that we have time to do great work. And so what are we? We're miserable in mediocrity. We don't understand that you've got time for great relationships. And so your impatience and expectations cripple or kill the relationships you do have. We don't understand who our children are and what they need from us, and so we lose them. We don't understand that we have time to be great parents. Because we don't understand that we have time, we're compulsive in work and we're compulsive at play. We don't understand that we have time to work and we have time to play. We have time for recreation. We don't understand death, and so we see it as a great enemy that robs us of our time. We don't understand that death simply reminds us that we are timed, which, when you understand it, will help you to decide your priorities so that you don't live for the wrong things. This understanding enables us to know we have enough time to live and enough time to die, and that we don't have to be afraid, that we can live so fully that when we die, we won't be embarrassed. I was driving near Indianapolis once when I saw this great big billboard that read, "God, Guns, and Guts made America great. Let's keep all three." Well, there are also some things that'll make a human being great. And I don't know why it is, but these are the things that are most easily missed or most easily discarded. That's why these things are being stressed again and again in messages like the one I'm giving you right now. These are things that you got to hold on to, and you got to hold on to them tightly. Don't give up. You've got to get this idea that you've got enough time, and you got to get that down in your gut. You've got to learn to take a long view of the history of your life. Once there was a man who was convicted of a crime, sentenced to death by the king. On the day he was to die, he sent a message to the king with this offer: "Give me 1 more year to live, and I'll teach your horse to fly. And after 1 year, if I've failed, you may then put me to death." Well, the king was puzzled but curious, and so he granted the reprieve. Later, the man explained to his cellmate, who thought he'd completely lost his mind, "Look at it this way. Within a year, the king may die. Or I may die. Or the horse may die. Or in a year, who knows, I may teach the horse to fly." I like that story, and I think about it whenever I think I've come to a dead end in my own life. It makes me realize that I must never give up, that I must patiently and creatively find challenging options for myself. As G.B. Shaw said, the people who get on in this world don't just go out and look for the circumstances they need. If they don't find them, they make them. Once more, in summary, part of knowing that you have all the time you need is this ability to take the long view of the history of your life, to not give up, to create new options, to make the circumstances that you need. And I have to ask you now, have you done anything about any of this yet? When are you going to get started? When will this insight that you have enough time take root in your life and begin to bear fruit? May I make a suggestion? What about today? Today. Storm the Bastille. Throw the tea into the Boston Harbor. Overthrow the greatest tyranny of your life, which is the tyranny of the urgent. Now, here's the way it usually goes. You wake up each morning ready to put in a great day doing the things that mean the most to you. But before you even get started, the phone rings. And there's a stack of unfinished work left from yesterday, which leads you to discover a nagging reminder from last week. And by mid-morning, all your goals have been taken prisoner by the tyranny of the urgent. You see, if you understand that you have enough time to do everything you really need to do with your life, you'll shout death to the tyranny of the urgent. You'll ride through the cobblestone streets of your own mind shouting, "Today I'll do the things I need to do rather than be run over by what I have to do. I'll do something important. I'll tell my family I love them. I'll write that letter to my friend, make that telephone call to my parents, do some things that make a day meaningful, and I'll feel better. No guilt. I'll have the energy for the things I have to do. I did not make today, but I will not let today make me.
If you enjoyed today's podcast, then we invite you to subscribe so that you don't miss any upcoming episodes, and even take the time to like and write a review. This will help as others are looking for similar kinds of material. This podcast is made possible by Friends of Heartbeat, who invite you to visit the website to learn more about other materials from Heartbeat and Landon Saunders' work at thisisheartbeat.com. And until next time, this is Heartbeat, the podcast.